Hi, if you're a foreign trained dentist who's applying to CAAPID cycle and trying to prepare for interviews, and they personally feel they are shy and they are not very confident at speaking English or feel hesitant to speak in front of public or people, well, this is the right video for you. If you don't know who am I, my name is Adriel William. I'm a foreign trained dentist just like you who got accepted to 4 schools during my first cycle back in 2020, and since then I've been making videos and helping other candidates get accepted. Personally, I've been getting candidates that I train for interviews who are Hispanics, people who are coming from Serbia, people who are coming from Middle Eastern community, uh, also a lot of people from Cuba, Venezuela, Mexico. And one of the things I was feeling that I wanted to talk to you is that if you feel very reluctant in interviews, that you feel shy and you can't speak, well, I wanted to share some stories, some things that I've learned over time, and you can see if that helps you. So, one of the things I'll say, if you're somebody who's Latino or from Taiwan or China or coming from countries where English is not your first language or your second language. I know India, Pakistan have a little bit more English because we were a British colony and they get more exposure to English, but some other countries like Cuba, Venezuela doesn't. And some of the people that I've been preparing were Hispanic students, and I think I have wonderful time with my friend Eduardo from Venezuela. When I was in Colorado, I used to live in Philadelphia in a Hispanic neighborhood, and I think I had really wonderful time with Hispanic community and my students or the candidates that I was working with. And I'm going to be a little careful not to give too much details and might change a little bit. But one of the things that when I was talking to a recent candidate and I was preparing them with the answers, and I was preparing their answers, telling them, but they told me that they were very shy. When I was giving them the answer, I was like, I'm creating the answers for you. All you have to do is go and speak in the school. Say it. You have to deliver on the stage. And I couldn't feel that energy from them. So I was like, what's up? What's going on? Like, you feel hesitant. There's a barrier between you and me. Whatever I'm saying, you're not grabbing that. And they were like, to be honest, last year I went to the same school, gave an interview, and I got rejected. So since then, I've been very scared and I feel I'm going to fail again. And I was like, fine, makes sense. And I've been reading books like it's called Becoming Supernatural. It's on meditation and unconscious barriers and stuff. So I told that person, well, I can prepare you the answers, but we need to do some work before that. And one of the things I told them that you need to go back, take a piece of paper, and write a letter to your own self. And you might find this funny, but this is a proven psychological technique to deal with emotional barriers. Uh, these are subconscious barrier when you want to do something but your own brain is fighting you. And I told them, you got to write a letter to yourself and you got to tell yourself that whatever you did last year, you tried the best, and even though you did not get accepted, it's fine. I forgive you and I love you, and it's totally fine. Rejections happen, failures happen, but we are going to work together and we're going to make sure we do the best in the next interview. And that's what I told that person, because I personally know from my own experiences, from my own failures, is that what happens is that you had some kind of bad experience in the past and you keep reliving it. For example, if I had a bad filling or a bad extraction or a complication, whenever I go to the next patient to do the same thing, the past trauma keeps coming in. So that patient so that candidate actually went back, and after a few days they said they want to do another session, and I was like, fine, let's do it. And we did another mock session, but this time I was like, this is a whole different person. This person was totally different. They were coming from one of the Hispanic countries, Latino countries, and I was like, your ability to speak, your confidence within a few weeks is like tremendously different. If we look at the recording, you look like a different person. You don't look like the same person, and you're very different. Like I know you most probably you went back and prepared. And what else did you do? Because very few times I've seen people change so rapidly in such small time. And they said, well, what they did was that they went back, not just they wrote themselves a letter, they wrote down them to the same kind of thing where they talk to themselves, hey, whatever happened bad is fine, but I'm a very confident person, I'm going to do good, and I'm going to make sure I prepare well. But they also called their mother back home, and they told me that that person called their mother and talked to them and said, well, when I was growing up and I used to speak English, you would always tell me that I'm never going to speak English. Well, during my childhood, because you spoke those words to me so much time, that I've been reluctant to speak English. And that person told me, when I said this or had this conversation with my mother, it really allowed me to calm down in my skin. I was more relaxed. I was able to prepare better. And then I did more mock session with my cousins, with my friend in my workplace. And now when I'm doing a mock session with you, Adriel, I'm much more relaxed. I was like, wow, that's a significantly big difference. And I'm telling you, like, I wish I could show you, but first that person was very quiet and speaking like this. And then the person was speaking as confidently as I would be speaking right now. And even though their English was not their first language, and what I keep telling my students or my candidates who are from these countries, whether they are coming from Taiwan, China, whether they are coming from Cuba, Venezuela, or Serbia, or Chechnya, whatever you want to call Ukraine, is that people don't care much about your English, but they care about your confidence and your ability to communicate. If you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, he never had the perfect English. He was coming from Austria, had a thick accent, but he became one of the most charismatic person of his era. Now, in order to become that person in the future, in order to get to that level that even with your weakness and vulnerabilities, you become strong, one of the things I want to tell you is this technique where you sit down and write down your own discussions, your own barriers. These are some things that you want to talk to yourself. And I personally feel in the past, I'm going to share a story. Very few loved ones and close friends of mine know this about me, but I think I'm mature enough now to share it with you on YouTube and let you know what I've learned from it. So back when my dad died in the road traffic accident back in 2013, after that there were series of situations where we lost a car, we had to let go of the house, there were a lot of financial issues. I was, as a 22 years old, I was angry at the whole universe. I was angry at my family, I was angry at everyone, including myself, because I wanted to do something and I could not. And when I used to get very frustrated and angry, I would sit down and write emails to my dad. Yes, my late dad who died away. And I would write on emails and tell him what I'm going through and what my troubles are. And I would hope that I would get a reply. And I hope one day I will. But the point was that back then, I used to do this and I thought it was just my own secret and I'm not going to tell anybody. That's just my own thing that I'm doing to just for the sake of my own happiness. But over the past recent year, I learned it from a psychologist that when they do therapies, they tell people, like, there was somebody who got child abuse in their childhood, and he used to see dream of that young boy who was crying to him, and that person was 60 years old, and he went to the psychologist and said, I got abused when I was young, and in my dream the young boy keeps coming up. I don't know, I can't sleep. And the psychologist told him, you have to write down letters to your own young self telling them that I know whatever happened to you was bad, was very evil, but I promise you that now we will take care of you. No matter what happens, I'm with you, I'm here to take care of you. And when I heard this, and that psychologist said that person started to do it, and within about 30 to 60 days, the kid in his dream started to grow up and became an old man. So he let go of his past trauma by talking to his own self. And I was amazed when I heard this. I was like, oh, I was using this technique just as a therapeutic way, and I never knew it. And I still, at time when I get very overwhelmed or emotional about something and I need to let it go, there are times where if I have to forgive somebody or ask forgiveness or have to do something, I would write it down and maybe burn that paper or throw it or whatever, trash it so nobody else can read it. But then when I got to knew that this was a proper therapy to people. And now when I'm coaching people and I told this, it actually works. And I thought, okay, maybe I should make a video and let people know who are dealing with this problem of shyness, some hesitance, some resistance. Maybe this video will help you overcome those barriers which are working inside you. Here's one thing I'll tell you. I've learned from alchemy. I've seen this in Harry Potter. I've seen it, and Harry Potter is based on alchemy and other psychological books too. You have to talk to your own present self and tell him that even though you're hurting, your sorrow, your stress, you're panicking, whatever it is, write it down and tell them that the future version of you will take care of it. That's a very important word. And this is coming from a man who got to learn that nobody's coming to save him only except for himself. And that's what I learned. Like when my father passed away, I realized there was no dad coming. I'm the one who's going to be taking care of things. And I think now, when you watch Harry Potter, there's a part where he time travels and he thinks his father is saving him, but it's not. It's the future version of him. And the reason I'm saying all of this because a lot of common people like me never knew this. We are never taught this in schools. Our parents don't know because this is something which is a very strong weapon for the human brain to overcome stresses, become strong, and adapt to new things. And when you do these things, your brain becomes more neuroplastic. It has the ability to make more neurons. And the person who like improve so rapidly, I told that person, your change was very drastic, it was very fast, you have a lot of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity means having the ability to create new neurons to learn new things. So if you go in one day and learn endo and you get really good at it, well, you have very good neuroplasticity, and it goes down as we age. One of the ways to keep your neuroplasticity high is to lift weights, as a side note. But one thing I'll say is you need to overcome this resistance and this barrier to get good at this, especially if you're coming from a background where you never got an opportunity to speak publicly in English. So use this. I'm doing a free Q&A session in November 8th, which is a Sunday. uh, Go in the link. My Instagram is in the description. There's a, I put up a reel. You can join that session. You can ask me questions if you need training with uh, interviews, if you need help with personal statements. My website is in the description. I have a fellowship program where I help people throughout the application. If you need help with the CAAPID, reach out to me on WhatsApp. It's in the description. You have any questions, I will try my best to help you out, and I wish you all the best in this journey. Take care.